All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another video about the Hell Let Loose 2023 roadmap. I am, of course, Colonel Matthews with the 10th Mountain Division. So hopefully in this video I can kind of give this to you from a clan leader's perspective. Because there's some things in here that kind of concern me. We will go over that in the video. But other than that, just kind of giving my thoughts on, what I think about this roadmap. And I will say I am very optimistic from it, but obviously a little bit cautiously. So let's get into it and, start sharing some thoughts.
For this studio, we created a development team from scratch. The dev team itself is a mixture of all the major disciplines of game development. So you've got game design, which is what I work in, art, code, and QA and production. Plus we have an audio director as well. And it was really built around Hell Let Loose as a project. It brought together everyone in a way that where we could work the way we always like to work, and that was fun.
I think that what Team 17 has done with this new studio is also given all of us who have been making games for so long a lot of freedom to be able to say, we understand what the core of Hell Let Loose is, and yet we want to give you the freedom to take that to the next level and to really bring to the players a lot of anticipated content and even some stuff that they may not have been anticipated, but we're really excited to share with them.
Well, it's been an incredibly exciting journey up to now. We've brought together a group of really passionate developers who are like subject matter experts, really into the game. So we've formed this team together, and we're just really, really excited to get stuck into the game now.
That leads me to beg the question, what are these guys' credentials? Like, did they... what titles have these guys worked on in the past? Like, have they worked on realistic shooters? Have they, is this the team that they're bringing over from Worms? Like, what makes these developers so qualified? Because a lot of times you see with development studios is, people don't really play the game and then make decisions for that game, based off of the bottom line, based off of, player retention, player acquisition. So I'm really curious to know, like, this massive team of developers that they've assembled, like the Avengers, like, what have these guys worked on in the past? Maybe they stripped some guys from Black Matter. Who knows? I will say that before I continue, this roadmap promises a lot. Like, I mean, yeah, in April, like, we're kind of just getting a little teaser, but looks like June's going to have a lot going on. July is going to have a decent amount going on. We get the new game mode, the 101st Airborne DLC, which the fact that this premium and in-game store is all kind of together, I hope this is free and maybe they have something else you can buy. And then, of course, September, going to the Steam Deck, whatever. I think the game, you can already play it on Steam Deck, but it's probably not optimized for it at all. I actually have a concern about that later on. And then what really excites me is tutorials. This game needs a tutorial. It does. But, yeah, this game mode, or this roadmap, promises a lot. And I hope they can deliver for their sake.
So we're really excited to get players into update 13.5 at the beginning of April, when we as a new studio were looking at the first ways that we could help support Hell Let Loose. Quality of life rose to the top, bug fixing rose to the top, and it became a huge priority, not just to say thank you to the players, but to demonstrate the level of quality that we want to bring going forward.
New game analytics are being implemented into the backend, which will be delivered with update 13.5, which are aiming to essentially allow the developers the ability to deliver fixes quicker and more effectively, including some of our longer standing and legacy bugs as well.
A lot of
legacy bugs. Obviously, that's going to include, the loadout bug. Everybody stuck on the first loadout. The grenade bug, where, you can try to throw a grenade, you can't throw it. You got to switch back to your primary and then back to the grenade. Or sometimes you're just stuck on the grenade. I've seen that too. So, I mean, they're saying that this isn't going to be fixed in update 13.5, which comes out tomorrow. But I mean, if they're going to add analytics and stuff, kind of leads me to wonder what all that entails. Like, are they going to, finally start breaking down on like Bob the Builder servers, shit like that? I don't know. I really don't know. Obviously, they're going to try to put a lot of stuff in just to see, have some kind of sheet or something spit back out to them. Hey, this is why this is happening. Let's fix this. So I'm curious to see what changes come of it, because I have a feeling it's going to have a wider range of consequences that we may not be able to foresee. So that's just my thought.
of what we're talking about today is exciting new features and content. We want to make sure we don't forget the game that's already there. And going forward, every single update, as well as bringing new content, will concentrate on making sure that we continually improve legacy content as well.
Every single milestone.
It's kind of like it's not broke, don't fix it kind of deal. But, there is a lot of stuff inherently wrong with Hell Let Loose. They did go over legacy bugs and all that stuff. I mean, that'd be an excellent start. Because Hell Let Loose, even though people bitch about it, it is a great game. Hopefully they can address the big issues, but there's not really a whole lot that they need to change from the original formula. It's something that it's kind of don't fuck it up, but make it better.
We'll be releasing new content. We'll be doing updates to the most popular existing maps as well. They'll be ranging anything from, lighting passes to adding extra atmospherics into the levels and things, and redressing them, and have so much more storytelling in these levels as well.
As a big way of saying thank you to everyone for playing.
I'll say it makes me wonder, are there going to be snowstorms on Foy? Are there going to be maybe planes flying overhead that aren't commander abilities on maps? It makes you want, that's pretty open-ended as far as adding more atmospherics. So I'm kind of curious, if what exactly they're going with in that regard. Maybe they'll have a plane crash randomly in a map, pull a battlefield or some shit.
To adding extra atmospherics into the levels and things, and redressing them, and have so much more storytelling in these levels as well.
As a big way of saying thank you to everyone for playing Hell Let Loose and enjoying the game, and maybe meeting some new friends in the game, and forming the community, and forming clans, etc., which we love, is having some free DLC for everyone. We've got a whole rafter of ideas about some of that, what that DLC can look like. We've got, for example, some special helmets that we've done for free DLC. And it's just a way of saying thank you for playing the game, thank you for enjoying the game, and I'm looking forward to playing the game with you all. I'm sure I have done in the past.
One of the things...
The thing that concerns me with DLC, if there is any kind of deviation from cosmetic DLC, any kind of pay-to-win aspect, any kind of busted ass weaponry or something that I can buy with real money, I'm pretty sure if that comes to the game, so many people would be pissed if that were the case. I do know they talk about paid DLC coming up. They're gonna talk about a store. But if there is any kind of pay to win element in Hell Let Loose, then the game is kind of tarnished. So I hope to Jesus that they do not make that kind of venture. But, we'll see.
That we've heard as a consistent piece of feedback from players is something that we refer to as mantling, which we've taken great care into finding ways to improve this throughout the course of the game so that it feels like a smoother experience for players, and so that they don't feel like they're getting caught up in the objects in the environment, but rather using the objects in the environment to their advantage.
So for update 14,
It's something that they've gotten better in Hell Let Loose as far as like, you know, mantling or vaulting. There are still very random occurrences. I noticed like sandbags on like the edge of trenches, like up on like the parapet. For whatever reason, it is impossible to mantle those. You have to like jump and move forward instead of like, you know, actually animations to get over shit like that. But it would be nice to, you know, see that improved, because there's like very few interactions in the game that are common enough to where it's kind of like immersion breaking and or just kind of sucks your gameplay. Like, you know, there's a sandbag on the ground that is literally no taller than my foot. Why am I not able to like climb over that? It happens, and it happens a lot more frequently than I would like to see, but I don't know. Hopefully it leads to better stuff. I know locomotion also kind of means like running. Maybe they're going to change like, you know, sprint speed, because people run like really slow in Hell Let Loose. So I don't know. There's a whole can of worms they could open with that.
one of the key pieces of content is the British. There's a whole bunch of new weapons and new vehicles in the game. So one of my particular favourites is the Firefly, that had a awesome 17-pounder gun that could really sock it to the Germans. So that's in the game, plus British weapons such as the Bren gun, such as Sten guns, as what you would expect from the British forces. Black Matter did a great job on putting in the Soviets, the German forces and the American forces, and with our British pack, it's the starting point for those British forces in the same way that they did it.
In Hell,
So my concern with that, okay, is two things. First off, where's the concept art? Like, you know, we'll see later on when they talk about, you know, the Finnish and the Poles, that they do have like some concept art, like some map kind of lookout, or like some, like a little bit of like a map reveal, even though it's like not textured or anything. When it comes to the British, like, there's no concept art. There's no, I mean, you could find some stuff like on the internet or whatever, but, you know, I'd love to see that in this video. Like, show us the Firefly. Like, show us the Bren gun. Show us the Sten. Show us the Lee Enfield. You know, show us, you know, some Mills bombs or something. Like, you know, something that kind of guarantees that the British are actually coming. Obviously, you know, in this video, I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt, but, you know, this update is, what, 2 months away? 3 months away for the British? So I would really like to start seeing some kind of peeks behind the curtain as far as what do the British actually entail. And the fact that that's not really present in this video, and we'll see later on that, you know, that the Finnish and the Polish forces actually have, you know, some concept art, is kind of concerning. But I mean, hopefully it's just, you know, me kind of going on a rabbit hole.
Hell Let Loose, it's really important to communicate with your team. I think we've all had those games where you're playing with someone that doesn't have a microphone and, you know, isn't able to communicate, which is a real problem. You know, if you don't communicate in Hell Let Loose, you're probably not going to do very well. We're going to bring a new form of non-verbal communication. So those people that haven't got a microphone or are unable to use a microphone are still going to be able to communicate with their teammates and still be that team player.
I'm wondering, I mean, they'll probably bring in hand signals, or maybe like a hand signal combined with like a squad message, like on the, like, you know how whenever like you type a message in game, you can see like the chat like up in the top left of the screen. I imagine it's going to be that, but like your squad chat. So instead of hitting K to type, you type L to type, and you'll see like, you know, the little chat box is green. Just for messages in your squad. I imagine it's going to be some kind of a hand signal paired with a squad message. Because verbal communication, let's say, one of the signals is like enemy over there, and then like, in game, your character says like, oh, like enemy over there, and then like maybe give a ping or whatever. If that's the case, I wonder if enemies will be able to hear that, since, the game doesn't have any kind of verbal interaction between friend and foe, except for like death screams or like, like the agony sounds of like a dude, who's just dead laying there on the ground, or like wounded laying on the ground, like makes, you know what I mean? Like that's the only kind of communication between friend and foe that's actually like in game. So I'm wondering if, talking about nonverbal communication, if like they're gonna go like all the way with it, like, actually make it a hand signal in battle, which would be kind of difficult, for the rest of the squad, because, you're trying to shoot at bad guys, like you're not gonna be looking at your buddy all the time, wondering like what hand signal he's giving you. So it's gonna be tricky, I feel.
Update 15, we have the Assault on the Breakort Battery. This is inspired by the memoirs of Dick Winters, the American 101st Airborne, made famous in the Band of Brothers episode. What we've done is take the existing map, taken the Breakort Battery part of it, and created a new game mode centered around that. Now, this game mode is a shorter gameplay experience. Not everybody has an hour and a half to play a full-size Hell Let Loose game. So we've introduced this new smaller game mode. It's smaller sides, there's no armor. Some of the abilities of the commander are going to change a little bit, really focusing around the shorter game for players who just want to jump in, play Hell Let Loose, have a really fun experience, but that can be more playable in, say, 30 to 40 minutes.
So this kind of brings up a problem. And this is why I'm bringing this like from the clan leader / admin perspective. How are servers going to handle this? Let's say like you put this in rotation. Okay, we're going to add the skirmish mode into a map rotation, right? And a objective mode, I guess in this case for Breakort Battery. My problem is if they want like a smaller scale Hell Let Loose experience, if a server is fully seated, so let's say, 97 players and above, because some servers have like VIP and shit, or, get admin privileges or whatever. I imagine that the objective game mode is going to be smaller scale. So it's going to be like 20v20 or 25v25, maybe 30v30. In that case, when the map goes from a fully seated map, so like your normal Hell Let Loose, 50 on 50 map, to a objective mode or a skirmish mode, as we'll see later in the video, what happens to those other 40 to 50 to 60 players? Is the server just going to randomly select like, your 20v20 and then everyone else just gets kicked, just because, the server itself is now going into a smaller game mode? Is there going to be like some kind of like, first dibs system where like people have to type something in to like, kind of get access? I mean, it's like I foresee a couple problems, because like, that might be like a decent like seeding mode, like kind of like a squad you can kind of relate that to. But like, I could just see like if a map rotation goes into that, you're gonna piss off like at least half of the server that was there to play. And then, another thing that's common is, when a match ends, like half the lobby leaves, or like almost half the lobby leaves. Like every time, like, you can tell when a server is just map flipped, because there'll be like, 60 something, maybe 70 something people still in that server. So, after the objective mode, like if it's 20v20, obviously some folks are going to leave once the match is over. So a lot of servers are 20v20 seating rules. So I imagine some of those people are going to leave. Now the server's technically unseated. Now it's going to flip to a regular Warfare map, and you're kind of back to square one as far as seating goes. So that's my big concern with it. I really want to see, how they handle this, and, if servers are going to have, or if, like, clans are going to have to, like, dedicate a server just to these new game modes. Because that's a big concern of mine. Like, where, as far as 10th goes, like, where do we fit this in our rotation? Is this the map that we seed on? Are the objectives time-based, where you only have, like, 5 minutes or whatever to complete objectives? So I think it'd be hard to seed it, because then, you'd have, like, 2v3, it's only for 5 minutes. So, I don't know. I'm really, it's a concern of mine, but I'm kind of intrigued to see, like, how they make the game mode happen. Like, what are all the parameters of it?
Always want to have a very immersive experience for the players. That's ultimately the goal, and so we're trying to bring more of those moments into it. It's just an exciting experience.
There's a lot of role play that the community like to carry out due to the historical accuracy that Hell Let Loose offers them. So yeah, seeing the 101st Airborne Assault Infantry join the game is going to be really, really exciting for them.
We're looking at new artillery units, we're looking at new German machine gun units and that. Just creating much more accuracy and bringing a visual fidelity that's much higher from what people have seen before.
So that begs the question, are mortars coming? Are, the deployable machine guns that we've seen in, like, previous roadmaps finally coming? Like, are the Germans going to get, like, the big tripod that, they could mount MG42s on, where they had, like, the lever that could pull the trigger instead of actually pulling the trigger? Like, is that coming? Or are the Americans going to get a deployable 50? What are the Soviets going to get? Like, because artillery, I'm about to open up a whole other can of worms. Because artillery is such a powerful asset in Hell Let Loose. Like, does this mean that mortars are going to come and, like, replace artillery? Is artillery going to become a buildable? What does this entail for the game that we have? Because, you're seeing it in tournaments, like seasonal, Hell Let Loose seasonal. They have adopted, like, the 1RD rule. The APL, a league that, I'm helping run in July. Is that going to alter that at all? Artillery is so powerful that, when you look at actual competitive facets of the game, like, so much cheese, so much, of a team's prep has gone to handling artillery that, you're seeing tournaments start to shy away from, letting all three guns just churn all game long, So I'm wondering if this means mortars are coming, and if mortars are coming, are they just slapping them in, or are they going to handle artillery as well? So it's going to be huge.
One of the things that we want to do is look at new, ways that we can bring the game to more people. And two ways that we're going to do that this year is the game will be launched on the Windows 10 store as well on PC. And this is maybe a little bit selfish for myself because I have one, but we want to bring the game to Steam Deck, which is a platform that we think is going to work really well for Hell Let Loose and for people that want to be able to play on the move as well.
An important
So this kind of brings up a concern. I think you can play the game already on Steam Deck, but, like, players that try to play Hell Let Loose with a controller, I know some tankers that use controllers because it's easier to drive, whatever. But one thing that concerns me is, they're going to start breaching into, like, other audiences. Like, obviously this game's already on console. They're going to make this game, like, more compatible or more, like, accessible to Steam Deck, all that stuff. So are they going to start introducing, like, aim assist, to players using controller, which if they do, it's going to be super detrimental to, players using mouse and keyboard, because now, they have to fight against players that, you know, are assisted in the game in, you know, gunplay, which is a huge part of How Let Loose. Or if they don't, then players with a controller are going to be at a massive disadvantage because, you know, if I'm playing on mouse and keyboard, I could just, you know, click on their head and, you know, GG. So I know they're trying to make other aspects, like other avenues of the game, other ports, like more accessible. And I hope to God they don't bring in like cross compatibility between PC and console. Because, I mean, if they do, like one of two extremes is going to happen. Like console players are going to have an advantage because of aim assist, or mouse and keyboard players are going to have an advantage because of no aim assist. So it'd be really tricky to like make that work.
Important part of bringing in new players is obviously ensuring that we have a better onboarding system and new tutorials and content. The community have already done a fantastic job in creating their own tutorial content, but now we're going to take that to the next level.
Another thing with
Thank fucking God. Black Matter always refused to make a tutorial system, and you see it every time there's a sale, every time there's a free weekend. You know, players, they come into the game and they have zero idea of what the fuck's going on, right? And, you know, in 10th, I always try to preach, like, hey, like, let's be the guy that, you know, is there to help the new player, that is there to, you know, kind of guide them along, you know, give them tips, give them, you know, pointers, bring this new guy up to speed, you know, even if he doesn't join 10th, like, because the opposite, like, if we act elitist and we kind of tell these players, like, you know, get good scrub, like dumb shit like that, you're going to get all these matchups of just steamrolls and, you know, one team with like nothing but level 20s and below having like no idea what the fuck's going on. I mean, and it's every time there's a free weekend, it usually spills over for like an extra like 2 to 3 weeks. And then like a month later, either all the new guys that realize the game isn't for them have left, and all the guys that realize the game is for them have kind of figured it out. So this game from day one needed a tutorial system, and now we're getting it, 4 years later. So finally. That's all I gotta say is finally.
we're going to do is we're going to bring an in-game store. In the game, you'll be able to see all the new content, and as we've already talked about, we're bringing a lot of new, both free and paid-for DLC this year and moving forwards in future years as well. So it'll be very easy in-game to be able to see what's available, purchase and use it straight away.
In-game stores. Oh, man. I know Team 17 have to pay the bills. I know they're not going to take this title and then not expect to make money off of it, but I hope there's no, you know, crazy anime waifu skins or, I mean, any like crazy emotes or stuff like that. I do think it'd be hilarious if, like, you know, I could bust out the floss. Like, you know, just dome a guy and then immediately floss on his corpse. I think that'd be pretty funny. But like I said, if there is any paid to win DLC, any, you know, buy this pack and you get busted ass equipment or, you know, busted ass abilities or anything like that, I'm fucking out. Like, I'm not. Like, because How Let Loose is a game that, you know, unless you're using like an absolute shit weapon, everybody's on like an even playing field, right? Like, I mean, obviously, like, there's things that are intrinsically more powerful than others, but, you know, all of that stuff you can grind towards. All of that stuff, you know, you can achieve. Like, you can get Rifleman level 6 and use the Gewehr 43 as the Germans. You know, you could get Assault level 9, use the STG, you know, as the Germans. You know, you have BARs and then Garand as the Americans. The Soviets get the shaft, kind of. I mean, the PPSH, I think, is pretty nasty. I think the SVT is pretty nasty, but, you know, most of their weaponry is kind of nerfed compared to the Germans. But, you know, if there is any kind of paid to win aspect brought into Hell Let Loose, you're going to see a lot of OG players just pack up and hit the fucking road. Like they will find the next AAA title that's coming and instantly flock to that. So Team 17, if you ever watch this video, please do not bring that kind of shit into the game. Just DLC should be purely cosmetic. You know, give us some tank skins. For the love of Jesus, like, I don't know how many times, like, I would love, kind of like for a Battlefield feature where, like, I hop in a tank and a skin is just slapped right on it. You know, I bought this DLC, I got a badass fucking, you know, Splinter winter camo on fucking Kharkov, like, give it to me. Or on Foy. Like, start bringing stuff like that into the game. But please, please, keep it cosmetic.
So for Update 18, we've got a lot of new content for the game. One of the really ambitious plans that we have for Hell Let Loose is this massive stream of content with regular cadence of updates for the game. So every calendar year, we're going to focus on 1 year from World War II. For us, that means starting in 1939 all the way through to the end of the war in 1945.
We go back to...
So that right there is huge. Especially from a clan leader's perspective. Because, like, you know, I always tell my guys, you know, at some point, Hell Let Loose is going to die, and we're going to need to move on to a new title, right? Like, that is in the back of minds of every clan out there that is Hell Let Loose oriented, right? You know, some clans also have, like, squad. Some clans, like, I think BR1 has, like, you know, Beyond the Wire and, like, other games like that. So to hear that they plan on kind of working the game, like, through the timeline of World War II, starting with this year as 1939, that means that we're going to potentially see content for this game all the way until, what, 2028? You know, does that mean in 2028 we're going to get like a Battle of Berlin pack? Maybe that mixed with like a battle of like Silo Heights. You know, the Russians like, you know, pushing the Germans all the way to Berlin. Are we going to see a Warsaw pack in, you know, 1944? So that'd be what, 2027? I mean, this is very encouraging from a clan leader's perspective because, you know, it tells me that if everything goes well, this game will receive support for a long time to come. You know, maybe we'll finally see like an update to Unreal Engine 5 or, you know, finally see an update to DX12. You know, like, because like I said, I tell my guys all the time, you know, every like big meeting we have, hey, once Hell Let Loose dies, we need something else. And to hear that this team at least has the aspirations of keeping this development going for a while, you know, really makes me happy. And, you know, I'm pumped to see if they actually stick to it. And I think that this year is kind of make or break. Like, if they don't deliver on this roadmap, then we'll probably see all this stuff scrapped. So, I don't know. It's all in the future, man.
Formerly Danzig, now Gdansk, where the famous post office battle happened in 1939, and Polish forces are trying to defend the post office against the German forces, and we bring more of a skirmish mode into the new game.
Now, this is a smaller map, so it's not a full-size Hell Let Loose map. It's a smaller map. It's a very, very urban map, and it has a whole bunch of different objectives. The other part for this update, which is absolutely massive for us, is we're going to cover the Winter War. This is between Finland and the Soviet Union. Both sides have a whole bunch of new weapons and new vehicles. It's the first time we've included Finland into the mix for Hell Let Loose. They have very particular uniforms and styles of fighting. They had a great reputation for more hit-and-run guerrilla-esque tactics. There's a whole bunch of new content for that, and new gameplay modes and new gameplay features for those.
From a visual point of view, it's like such a dramatic landscape. The combination between the beauty of nature with all the lighting and the mountains and scenery and everything like that, and contrast against the battle, against the hell that's actually going on. There's an opportunity for us to be able to have dynamic weather, to be able to have a blizzard coming into the battlefield midway and things, and how that's actually going to affect and change the gameplay. So I think it's going to be really exciting.
Going back to my point about the British earlier in the video, notice how they gave you a lot of concept art for, for the Polish, they show you, what the map of Danzig is going to look like. I mean, even though it's untextured, you see a lot of like the colors for like different parts of the map. For the Finns, you saw the concept art of the Suomi submachine gun. Kind of the concept art of like where they want to take the maps. And for the British, we didn't get any of that in this video. So, I mean, and the British are coming, apparently they're coming in June. So it's kind of worrisome that they're showing you concept art for stuff that's coming like later down the line and not something that's like kind of right around the corner. But I wish, like, just show me like concept art of the Bren gun, show me concept art of the Sten, show me concept art of the 17-pounder, the Sherman Firefly whenever you're bringing it up. Like, they're in a rush to show you like stuff that's like down the road, stuff that could potentially be delayed. But, the British, they're coming, and we haven't gotten a drop of that in this video. So that's a little bit worrisome from my perspective.
Belarus has had such a wonderful player base, and as we bring it to the next level and to more players, we want to keep the core essence of everything that is Hell Let Loose, but we also want to demonstrate a next chapter.
The community's input is obviously incredibly important, and they are the drivers of the game, and we want to make sure that they've got opportunity to enjoy new battles and increase the longevity of the game itself as well.
They say that. If that were true, we would see these developers, joining like the Hell Let Loose seasonal Discord. We would see these guys in, HCA Discord. Like, and we even saw, I was watching a stream, Dal Saltberg, kind of making the groups of, for the Hell Let Loose seasonal. And my man Heidi, from WTH, very well respected Hell Let Loose, competitive guy, right? Like, us clan leaders, us, guys that are like deeply embedded in the Hell Let Loose community. I mean, I'm obviously not on Heidi's level, but I'd love to see these game devs start to listen to us. Like, all of the bitching, all it takes is for someone to go into the Hell Let Loose seasonal Discord, go to the meta discussion, go to the general chat, and you'll figure out literally everything that's wrong with this game just in those two chats. I would love to see these devs start getting in there, start, debunking some things, start, revealing plans, start telling us, hey, we're looking into this. We hear you guys. And I'm not saying that everything should revolve around competitive, because obviously there's, a massive community outside of competitive that play Hell Let Loose. But the people that understand the game the deepest are those that play the game competitively. Because they'll find every exploit, they'll find every little, trick of the trade, they'll find every way to achieve victory. So if you really want to tap into, you know, a wealth of knowledge, start looking into those Discords. Start hopping in there. Start talking to the community. Start showing face. Because then that gives us hope that, you know, you guys are listening to us and you guys will try to fix some of these issues. So I'll hop off my soapbox for a minute. This video is pretty much done.
And we want to work with you to make this game everything it can be.
So, I mean, that's the roadmap. This video, of course, is a long one, so sorry for making you guys sit through all that. If you watched it all the way to the end, I mean, thank you guys very much for doing so. Of course, I may have a different perspective than most, because I am the head of a clan. You know, I am the head of 10th Mountain Division. And some stuff that's in this roadmap concerns me. Some stuff in this roadmap, you know, really makes me pumped for what's to come. And 2023 is going to be a make or break year for Hell Let Loose. You know, if these guys come through and they fucking deliver, you know, analytics works great. You know, they figure out the spaghetti code that Black Matter have had to use to develop this game, and they make, you know, get rid of the loadout bug, get rid of the grenade bug, you know, get rid of the mass disconnection on map flip bug, you know, like servers crashing, all that good stuff. If they deliver, people will flock to this title. You know, everybody that already plays it, you know, the people that already play it are the promoters for Hell Let Loose. You know, they're the guys talking to their buddies like, dude, you got to get into this. You got to join my clan, whatever. And if they deliver, that would be so huge. And I hope all this works out. I hope that, you know, everything kind of happens seamlessly. And hearing that they plan on developing this like for the duration of World War II really makes me pumped. Because now, you know, as long as 2023 goes well, Hell Let Loose looks like it's here to stay. And I think that's huge news for myself, for my clan, for my community, and for Hell Let Loose community as a whole. So thank you guys for watching. If you guys enjoyed it, you know, feel free to like it. Feel free to subscribe. I'll be posting more content like this, gameplay, whatever in the future. And yeah. So I'm Colonel Matthews of the 10th Mountain Division, and I hope everybody has a wonderful rest of their day.